The 25,000 square foot, is that feasible? If you find out that, okay, if we do a dual thing and the money's there, could we enlarge it? Or 25 the cutoff?
I don't think that's been established. I think Naoto put that out there as a range because, you know, just rule of thumbs of how much things cost per square foot, you can kind of back into, okay, we can, kind of like if you add onto your house, you can afford this much, right? And that number, because we don't have a design of a building, we can't really come up with that cost. So right now, it's a range, and we're going to keep.
Are you thinking about dual level, or is it all single level?
We're not thinking about anything yet. There's no ideas. So right now, if someone says, I want a 2-level building, then we add it to the list. Yes.
I certainly understand the community's wish and the discussion about single-story homes, but if Chamberlain Park was selected as a site, I think it would be almost criminal not to take advantage of that beautiful view of Southwest Fort Worth. Why not have what you can have astrology, stargazing. There's so many things that you can. It's a beautiful view. I mean, I lived out here a few years ago, and that was one of the areas at night that I love to go to because it just. If here's an example. If a child is in a household where they feel like there's no way out, just imagine going to a second level and taking a view and saying there is a world bigger than this right here. What an inspiring thing that could be for a child.
That's a great point. Yes, sir.
Great.
I'll make myself clear. I'm not talking about the community center. Right, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. If you put up the, we're talking about multifamily.
Yeah.
That was the problem, multifamily.
And just for the record, we're not planning to build any multifamily. Okay, so.
But just for clarity, the other thing is that, in agreement with Sonia saying, that's on a hill. There's no residents around there that's going to be blocking their view because it's multiple. So, yeah, so I agree with you. That would be a great opportunity.
You're talking about where that baseball field is?
Yes, it just would be an amazing.
Yeah, we walked out there and looked, and really it was one of the few places that I could actually see downtown because there's trees and things get in the way. Yeah.
And as you discussed the solar curve and then the positioning of the building, oh my gosh, if I were an architect, that's what I could dream of there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
You can almost see TCU football.
I like the way you built Nashville. I happen to be the vice president of the CCPD board when you built that.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is so nice, and you can see a lot because it's multiple stories.
It is multi.
So something like that would really be nice up there on the chamber.
Yeah, just to get a little high.
Yeah, a little high.
Yeah. Yes.
This building gonna have like shelter, underground shelter and stuff.
So the question was, will the building have an underground shelter? We don't know. We'll add it to the list.
You need to have.
Would that be for storms or?
Yeah, for storms.
Where do you currently go for that?
Into the interior, into the restrooms.
Of this building? This would probably be the same place. I mean, it's
I was kind of surprised nobody had mentioned track.
Well, we use Fort Worth ISD for track. I don't know if that's seen as a great need.
Well,
maybe a walking.
I think that as we talk about the building, we're looking at something that we can walk around and sit. I know we're gonna have a gym because we have kids and all of those things. So, but I also think we need to have, when we talk about that multi-use area, we need to have a large enough conference room so we can have our functions that we have out here. We have Mother's Day programs out here that have over did something, so we need some space that we can have our next celebration.
300 people standing or sitting
Oh,
at
no,
tables?
sitting at tables.
A luncheon.
Okay.
Yes? Training? Yeah, computers and training. Yes?
This is something you all probably know, but
Can you speak up just a little?
Como, when you rise this area and Sonia, it has a lot of room to range.
Yes.
So a lot of neighborhoods is roots. Like,
Yes.
you know, this is unique with the hills and you can see the different views.
Yes.
When you're driving around, so that's
Yeah, that really is a unique, beautiful part of this Fort Worth that is your rolling hills. Now, I will tell you this, from an engineering and architectural standpoint, it presents some challenges, but that's okay. I'd rather have the challenge than have flat land that there's no interest, right? So, yes.
I want to just give the recommendations, since we're talking about a bunch of different things, from the staff and everybody that's worked here for the past 35, 20, 15 years, so that the community can start thinking about what we've seen as we've worked here. First of all, we need 2 gymnasiums. We need a large one, it's much larger than this, because a lot of the community centers have large gyms that have the curtains that come down that can be split into 2 separate things. The other thing we'd like to see is a smaller gym that can be used for your dance classes, your aerobic classes, your things like that, with a multi-use floor that can also be used for skating and stuff like that for our kids. We want to see, we have an after-school program that has over 150 plus kids. We do the same with summer day camp. So we want to see classrooms and stuff like that. Our senior citizens is growing. They're now averaging about 50 people per day. So it needs to be a big enough space. But here's the key. Like Mr. Bose was saying, to have a multi-use space so that we can have our banquets, have a large enough space for the senior citizens with a commercial kitchen that can be used for them during the day, but on the weekends and evenings can be used for meetings and banquets and stuff like that. We'd also like to see, I call it a movie theater, and 75 to 100 seat theater with a stage that can be used for all kinds of things, from presentations to plays to movies to conferences to whatever you want to see in there. We also need storage. When this building was built 40-something years ago, no storage except for one little small thing was put in here. The storage rooms we now have were because health department moved out or something like that. So it's got to have plenty of storage. We have no place to put all these tables and chairs except in the rooms that we have right now. We need to be able to have meeting rooms that can be set and left set so that we're not continuously having to overexert staff, because just like with this meeting, if we had a meeting room, we wouldn't be sitting on the gym floor right now. So those type of things are things we see. Having classrooms that have storage closets in them, sort of like what we have over here in the Head Start, so that staff can keep theirs. Every time we get ready to change out something, we got to change out storages or go move stuff, and that doesn't make it conducive. We do a track and field program. We do football, cheerleading, we do college prep. We want a larger computer room. We currently do have a computer room, but it only has 6 computers, so something a little bit larger, because we also have a little mini library that we like to expand. But to be able to have some of those type of things, there are some nights, and the alumni can attest to that, if we have multiple alumni meetings, some of them may be sitting in little chairs in the Head Start, they may be sitting in the camp office, they may be in the kitchen, it just depends. Because this is a very active center, just like tonight, We're in the gym, so the kids don't have any place to go because we've got parents meeting in another room. So now tonight the kids out on the street, the ones that usually are in here playing in the gym or having basketball practice or whatever. So we need to have areas large enough. In our big gym, we do want to walk and track. Now my ex-supervisor took us around to some of the better community centers throughout Tarrant County. They have walking tracks up above. They have fitness areas. Here's another thing about the fitness area. We want a nice fitness area, but we don't want it to overtake the center.
That's right.
If you've been at Chisholm Trail, the new one, I'm not knocking it, but it's our fitness area. But that's not what Como needs. Because how many of y'all come out and work out all the time? We have a nice weight room and fitness area back there, but not many people use it. So we don't want that to overpower. There are many more things we need. You're right, we need the trophy cases, not only for your trophies, but look at where our trophies are. We don't have space enough. Now we actually do have the high school trophies here in the trophy case, but they're in a room where unless you go in there for a meeting, you can't see them. So we need to be able to incorporate all of that into our plans. We like Chamberlain Field because we feel like we can have a multi-use field plus a community center that is, right now, when we take the kids up to Chamberlain Field, I mean, there's no water up there, there's no lights up there, none of that. So we constantly have to run back and forth. You know, there are no restrooms, so we can have that right up there. Let me tell you why we don't like the lake area, because there's water there. We do not like water and kids, especially a lake area. Now, if we had a pool with plenty of lifeguards, that's fine. Yes, that's a beautiful